Hey there! What do you say there, world? Welcome to the Races Recap Season 29 finale. I am one of your hosts, the fabulous Justin.
I'm here.
Diana's off screen, not feeling so well, but she'll be in the chat room. So make sure you get your questions in.
The even more fabulous James Earls over here.
That is true.
And the most fabulous of them all, very cool,
The Queen.
is over here. The Queen.
Well, welcome, man. I am so happy to be able to chat with you guys. I really enjoy this, and it sucks to be the final episode of the season, but obviously I'm hoping that we could do some continuations of where we stopped off with making the final race. Making the perfect race. Corey can jump in, and I have a lot of fun things planned we'll talk about in a second. What's up, man?
No, I was just gonna say I'm excited because it's summer, so I'm looking forward to doing nothing. Nothing. I'm gonna volunteer with Cooper and do Ancestry.com, and that's about it.
Yeah, she's been Diana was on Antiques Roadshow for a big family history heirloom from the 1700s, and she
Guess what they told me? It was almost good enough for TV. Do they know who I am?
I was stalking your Facebook posts, and I was like very interested in all of it.
Almost good enough for TV.
Well, the only problem was they knew so much information from it because it had previously been in a museum that the roadshow couldn't give them any new information, so they wouldn't look good on TV. But it was worth $8,000 to $10,000, and it sparked her interest in Ancestry.com again, and she's back on. And she's addicted. All right. I just came back. Sorry for the delay. I was in Cincinnati for Reality for Diabetes, hanging out with a bunch of Big Brothers, survivors, somebody from Redneck Island. Didn't even know it was a TV show, which I got to watch. Apparently, it's on CMT with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the host. What? It's like Survivor just for rednecks? They vote people off on beer koozies.
Blast. That is...
What?
That is... Blast.
Yes, and she was a perfect redneck, so I'm looking forward to watching this show. But we raised some money for the JDRF, and if you want to go check it out, there's pictures, videos, and stuff on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So before we get into it, we're waiting on Brooke and Scott, who are doing another interview right now. Before we get into the episode recap, let's talk a little bit about the design of this leg, because I don't want them to be on for this part of it, because I'm not going to say nice things. I hated it. I hated it.
I wasn't a fan of the finale either. It was such a good season, and then it just kind of was a finale. And I'm not talking like the winners. I'm just talking about the lead design. It's boring.
Yeah, so let's not talk about what specifically the people, but the leg design. All right, we're all pissed off because there's no roadblocks. There's no detours.
I'm upset that they did not keep the integrity of like a leg, of having at least a roadblock or a double roadblock.
Right.
I mean, it was route info, and then pit stop.
I mean, it kind of felt like it was, but I guess you're right. It didn't really say. I mean, the race car driving and then the re-putting your places in line.
The memory challenge.
That was not a memory challenge.
I used quotes, Justin. You missed it.
Yeah, okay.
Everything they got to do together, which I get it. Like, it's a finale. You want to see them participating together. But, I mean, there should have been at least 2 roadblocks where each one had to do something on their own. And you couldn't move on until you got it. And that could have been a good catch-up point or a good time to jumble up something. But I felt like as soon as Brooke and Scott got to the first clue, that was, the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, after Mom and Dad made one little mistake, there was no way to even catch up. That's the problem. I want to see memory tasks. The memory task was, what place did you finish? I know every single one of us can quote it, 912111132. Like, we all know it. We don't have to think about it. It's not something that you just know. It's not memory. It's like, it's 1, 2, you know your numbers, you know the days of the week, you know what place you finished on the Amazing Race at every leg. You know these things.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think they made it so dumb and easy? I don't get it. I hated it.
I felt like it was I agree. Maybe they thought that it would be more difficult. And I was trying to think about the places that the different teams had finished in. And I thought maybe this would be harder for some teams, maybe like Lolo or Brooke and Scott, who were kind of all over the place. And I was thinking, like, on my season, yeah, me and Tyler were almost always in the top 3. And I'm like, exactly what you said. I was reciting our order in our head watching it, but I did feel like it was like an attempt at a new memory challenge.
Somebody said, Jason in the chat room said, I think memory tasks aren't really worth it anymore because everyone expects them. But, like, look at our season. Yeah, we all expected it, but it tripped up Kelsey and Joey. They got something, I think,
and tripped up heavily the paparazzi. Right. And 25, they had a season memory task that took freaking 4 to 7 hours. And
was it? Didn't you guys have 2 memory tasks?
3.
We had 3. We did the Fireman Roadblock Challenge, which then had to lead the capitals of every country that we went to.
Then the flags.
And we had the flags. Then you had to assemble the chairs and put the chairs in order, of the things that you did because there was a painting on the back.
Yeah, which was super easy, obviously. But the flags was difficult, and the capitals were difficult because it actually should have been a lot more difficult. They only had 2 extras. They should have had at least like 4 or 5 extras.
That's my fault. It's totally my fault because they practiced that.
James Earl, tell him.
So after you did eliminated, some of the teams that did eliminated practiced the finale things. So when they did the flag things, I did it in like 20 seconds, and everyone else with me took forever. Like, people could not finish it.
Yeah, those are people that are not prepared.
Right. So they're like, this is just too hard. So we have to get rid of all these. James Earl, you're like the anomaly on this one. So they went with like the rest of the group instead of with me.
So you're the reason we lost.
Yeah.
No, Kelsey and Joey nailed it too.
If we're talking about final memory tasks, like season 12 has one of my favorites so far. It's when they had like the logic puzzle along with the races. Do you remember talking about where they had like a stack of items and they had to put like certain items by the clues?
Yeah, it was like surfboards and like bicycles.
Well, it's like, and you had to be like 3. There was like criteria. It was like 3 animals, and like the person was an animal, and that was a trick of it. Like that in season 25, like the milestone that I want to reach. Like, those are the tough ones that really challenge people.
Yeah, our season was all about the like hashtags, and every racer knew on day 1 in Mexico City when we got the first hashtag to write down the hashtags. There were like over 30 of them, and then we get there the last day and there's like 9. I'm like, give us all 30. I've got all 30 memorized.
Yeah, but at least yours had the selfies, the hashtags. Like there was a lot of the season
was 26.
Season 26 had the selfies. Yours had hashtags. It was, I mean, obviously that was so easy for you guys being social media stars.
It doesn't have to be related to the race necessarily, like you said. Like, it could be a simple logic puzzle, something that, like in Survivor, how it doesn't matter how fast you complete the course, everybody's racing to the puzzle at the same time. So.
Yeah, I actually really like the hello and goodbye because they weren't expecting that from the when they had to do the hello and goodbye and the flags. Yeah,
that was what, 21 or 22,
something like that. 21, I think.
I thought you guys would know that.
I think it's 21. Just 22 was the hockey player, so 21 had to be Josh and Brent.
There you go. 23 with what?
Yeah, 21.
Yes, but obviously everybody's writing down hellos and goodbyes, but I think something along those lines. But then again, we're going to finish our perfect amazing race this summer, and you will see the perfect final task. I promise you, the best final task that's ever happened on the race will happen on the race's recap this summer.
Bertram, take notes.
Take notes for season 30, Celebrity vs. All Stars. We know that's coming. All right.
That's a weird season. Still, I still think that's a weird season.
I know, me too.
Okay, weird.
Define celebrity.
Define celebrity. We're gonna go with, I think, Sean Hayes, who's tweeted about it multiple times. Latoya Jackson, who's tweeted about it multiple times. Go ahead.
I tell you that Tyler and I met Sean Hayes for a different kind of like meeting sort of thing, and he literally just wanted to spend 30 minutes asking us about the Amazing Race.
That's
and
awesome.
It was the best meeting I ever had.
Because here's Sean Hayes asking about you and your life. Like, when does that ever happen?
I know. I was freaking out to even meet Sean Hayes, and there he was just playing 30 questions to me and Tyler about the Amazing Race and telling us how obsessed he was with it. So
that's so awesome.
So he would go on. I think Latoya Jackson. I think
dropped a couple things, like a couple interviews. He's mentioned everyone wants to do celebrity. I'm like, where is he hearing that? It's got to be somewhere because fans aren't saying it. So
Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick together. I mean, how awesome would that be?
Here's what I'm afraid would happen though. It'd be like a cupcake season.
You don't think they're gonna make them do hard tasks?
No.
What if it's like Bear Grylls tasks? Like,
how are they even going to race around the world? People like they were worried on season 28 about like fans asking us for selfies and like fans helping us too much, which like honestly the only time we really saw people like that were at airports. But it's like imagine Sarah Jessica Parker stopping someone for
maybe
like
she's a bad example.
Neil Patrick Harris.
But Sean Hayes is like he could blend in.
Yeah, if you didn't watch
not
the
with
show,
the new season of Will and Grace coming out, are you kidding me?
But if you don't watch that show, you have no clue who he is.
It's
only fans of that show. All right, gay people everywhere know who he is, and people who watch the show. Come on.
That's a lot of percentage.
All right.
That's like females and half of men, right?
Yeah. Yes, Brooke and Scott are coming. They're currently doing an interview with Rob Has a Podcast, okay, our direct competitor, so we can't mention him. No, I love Rob Has a Podcast. But they're currently on there on a special episode, so as soon as they're done there, they'll pop over here. But until then, we're going to talk about the dirt that we don't want to. Okay, so leg design. Memory task, we hated it. No detours, no roadblocks, no real chance for teams to pass each other. Nobody recognized Ernie and Cindy, so why were they there?
Oh my God.
I felt so bad for them.
Drag them.
No, it was so funny though. Come on. They were like jumping right in their face to everybody, and nobody like even said, "Oh my God!" Everybody's just like, "Go Red Sox!" Bounce.
I'm like, just run. Don't even stop. You're in second place.
That was so funny. All right, yeah, and I don't know.
Well, like too, Tara and Joey knew that they were in second the entire time. So like because you get to the park and you see that their rankings already done. So.
Oh yeah, that would have been. I mean, it was demoralizing when Tyler and I showed up at the winery and saw Matt and Dana standing on the finish line. So, like, I'm sure it was very similar for anyone who came in after Brooke and Scott to see all the numbers already lined up.
Right.
I mean, they knew that they had won. Like the fact that when they ripped the clue open after finding it in the stands and they're like in tears as they say we won, like that just like sucked all the drama out of the episode.
I thought too, that they knew that they were winning when they found out in the stands.
They knew they were winning the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know poor Ernie and Cindy, and okay, cynical, romantic. I know I'd be pissed off if they don't recognize me, but you know what I would have said as soon as they got there? Hey there, what do you say there? They would have recognized it because they watch Racers Recap. So stop it. And I'd have been wearing my green hat.
I mean, I was excited that they actually went to Chicago. I feel like I'm just so tired of watching LA and New York.
Yes. I'm tired of watching starting from LA, which is God, just come on. Go off the block though. Go down the street. Right. Go to walk.
And I did like the challenge that they had to go find the 3 different monuments. They had to like figure it out, go there. Like and I liked that challenge.
I really like that. I wish there had been something like that in our finale because everyone says that this finale was so straightforward, but I'm like, they were running around and you could have picked to go to those monuments in any order. So I thought it had a level of at least a chance to mix things up more, which I don't think season 28's finale had at all.
I just didn't. I mean, it was easy. They read the things, and I didn't do any research on Chicago and knew 2 of the answers. So if I would have did any research, you knew the answers. You didn't even have to ask. If you didn't know the water tower, you shouldn't even have been in the damn finale. It's the only thing you should know in Chicago. The water tower, the thing that survived the fire.
Really? I didn't know that, Justin.
Yeah, the only thing that survived the Chicago fire is the water tower. Nobody remembers that.
No,
Justin, you're like 10 years older than all of us.
Yeah. Weren't you alive during that or something?
Weren't I alive? Shut your mouth.
We weren't even alive for that.
No, none of us were.
We don't count. Yeah. Come on, Justin.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'm old. I'm sorry. That's why you're here, to keep me level. So
well, let us bring you down a notch.
All right. I love you,
Put you in check.
I love it.
This episode.
All right. So let's start. We can't wait for Jabba Jaws to get finished over at Rob Has a Podcast. So when they get here, they get here. All right. Hershey's Kisses. I love them. Here we go. I don't know why I'm eating. I apologize. All right.
It's dinner time.
Grandpa Justin, shut your mouth in the chat room or I will turn it off.
Them getting premium seating or premium upgrade seating.
Wait, didn't y'all did that? Didn't y'all did that, Justin, or was that just 28?
We didn't get that. Oh. No.
Did the team that got first place get a prize?
Yeah, that's true.
Logan and
not in 11.
Chris and Logan.
Chris and Logan is who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a prize to Peru.
Where they've already been.
Yeah.
They enjoy Peru.
And Peru.
Our prize was all 3 teams got first class tickets, which is what was the exact same for this season.
They
I
didn't
asked
get a
Brooke.
prize that leg, so to win the million.
No,
like,
yeah.
To not get a prize and then to win the million, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right, let's get it started. Season 29 finale, which season 29 is one of my top 10 seasons. I've definitely put it on the top 10 list of best seasons ever. I'm going to put it out there. If the finale was better, it could have made it to the top 5. That's how good I think it could have been.
I agree with that statement.
All right. Well, let's kick it off with a great breakdown of the season. I like the recap of the season. I like the drama. I love the music that was going and intensity. And then they broke it down, team by team. They gave them like character. Even Team Lolo, who nobody knew who they were. The edit, that breakdown made it like, oh, that's Team Lolo. Like, okay. Like they did talk a little bit this season. So I really appreciated that part of the edit in the beginning of the recap. Heading to Chicago in first class. Again, the longest flight of the whole entire race, and they get to do it in first class. Must be nice. Definitely jealous about that. This is their 3rd first class. And
I would say, I don't know why they don't want to shove them back in coach and keep them real tired. Because coach, you can't sleep. You're like shumbled up like this, barely sleeping on the middle. You would think they'd want them back there.
I wonder if it was a very quick turnaround, because ours in China was a very quick turnaround, and I think that's why they actually gave us first classes, because they didn't want us to be complete zombies on the last day.
Right. But I like zombies on the last day because that leads to mistakes, and mistakes lead to drama. Drama's good TV. Come on, man. All right, so they got the first class tickets, which again, jealous about, and then Phil is over here telling them this last leg. It's going to be brutal. Phil?
I think Phil told him a little fib.
Phil?
I think it was the fact that, like, you could just run everywhere. It was, like, running intensive.
Phil?
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, Phil. Just stop it, Phil. Come on, Phil. Don't do that. We love
Phil didn't know what they were going to be doing in Chicago.
He was there.
He's an executive producer.
He created half of it. I guarantee you he was there for it's like, come on. It was not a damn brutal leg. It was one of the easiest final legs in the history of the race. I'd put it in the top 5 of the easiest legs ever. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so here we go. Phil lies to us, and then Lolo talks about not winning a leg yet. And this is when I'm like, wait, maybe my prediction is going to be right. Is Team Lolo going to win? Is this the foreshadowing? We're not going to win? Is this the Joey and Kelsey edit 2 years in a row? You guys didn't think that when you saw it? No?
Didn't think it at all.
I hoped for it, because I was like, this would be the biggest, like, we punked you move that the show's ever done.
Who won? Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good edit for them to be the winners at it. But then again, I mean, you can only work with what you got. So, super fan note right here. Brooke and Scott are the only teams that check their bags. Now, how do you guys feel about checking the bags? Because Kelsey and Joey said they didn't check their bags purposely so they could use their bags to hold a taxi. How do you guys feel about this?
So Mom and I have 2 bags, and I don't know if you noticed. Mom had a little itty bitty tiny bag compared to like our giant bag.
Mm-hmm.
If we had it, we would have checked my bag and emptied most of her stuff out into my bag. So we would just have essentially an empty small backpack to hold on to taxis. Like that was the strategy. And like I just think you need to do something to kind of protect your taxi. And that bag really just leaving your bag in there is like hands off to other teams. So I don't know why you wouldn't.
Tyler and I were the only ones in our season to check our bags on the last flight. Matt and Dana and Jerry and Cole took theirs with them.
Well, here's a little information that I would have given the superfan move to Scott had this made air. They're at the ticket counter. All 3 teams are standing at the ticket counter, and the other teams turn to Brooke and Scott and like, should we check our bags? Scott's going to check his bags the whole time, but he lies to them and is like, listen, if something happens in the plane, we have to change, then you're going to have to wait for your bags and you can't even get on the next plane. Like he was like, I don't think we should check our bags. So he waited and let everybody board the plane, and then he checked the bags at the gate before he went onto the plane. So none of the other teams knew that they checked their bags, which I love. I love that move.
See, we just left ours in the
Overhead.
Because
Which is like bad nowadays, dude.
well, we told the flight attendants, but
okay.
It had rained that day, as you saw when we like finished in China. It was downpouring. We had no turnover. We had such a quick turnover to get to the airport, so all of our clothing was wet that we wanted to race in for the last day. So we had our like warm, dry clothes on, slept on the flight, and then changed back into the like damp, gross clothes for the last day. But what could you do? I mean, we had very little clothing left anyway, but then yes, left our bags in the overheads.
No, that's cool. I like that. I like the strategy of it. And if super fans are going to go on the show for season 30, even if there's a bag in the cab, you're not allowed to touch it, but the taxi driver is, and money talks. So all you have to say is, hey, I'll give you $50 if you just happen to move that bag out of there. You're allowed to tell them to take it out.
Never mind.
What? Bring it up.
Throw those bags on the floor for us, please.
It's happened before on the race. The cab driver took it out and took it.
Why didn't we think of that strategy then?
But no, Justin. I'm pretty sure they told us we weren't allowed to do that. It may have changed, but they told us specifically we weren't allowed to do that, and they mentioned that season 23 incident.
That we weren't allowed to tell the taxi driver?
Uh-huh.
Because
you can't manipulate someone's stuff like that, Justin.
Well, that's not what I heard about this season.
They specifically told our season. It may have changed, but our season we could not do that.
Right.
I believe the rule is you can't mess with somebody's bags.
You can't mess with somebody's bag. You're right.
But
let me pull up the rules.
No, listen. When Brooke and Scott get here, let's mark that. Let's Brooke and see. Because I believe they can. Maybe
listen, Corey, once you get one penalty, you made sure you know the rules real good.
We didn't know any of the rules.
No, but see, we did, and still got a penalty. And after that, we were like, by the book.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, we did get our bags. We went back the next day and got our bags from the airport.
They were unhappy with us.
They hated it. They were like, you can't do that. That's not right.
Yeah, but really, we could have just said, like, no, you lost our luggage or you sent it somewhere else. You know, because really it just goes around on the conveyor belt and then you pick it up later. You
could leave an empty fanny pack in a taxi instead of carrying your backpack as well. Empty fanny pack, by the way.
We got since we just left them in the overheads. I got my bag 3 months later, and Tyler never got his bag.
What? His was probably sold on eBay or something.
Holy cow!
They stole sunglasses, a pair of tights, and a pair of shorts out of my bag, and they gave it back. And then gave it back to me 3 months later. Thanks, LAX.
Listen, those clothes were so dirty by the end, it didn't even matter.
I'm like,
it was
these are
disgusting.
wet, like gross, yeah.
The best thing that they're good for is just donating for these charity events and stuff where people auction stuff, and that's would have been the best things. But 5 minutes, Brooke and Scott will be here, so just got the 5-minute warning from Brooke and Scott. So I love that super fan note. So let's go on to the route info. We're heading to Chicago Speed. What?
Sorry. Which one?
Which one? Oh, which route info? The first one. Route info. Heading to Chicago Speedway. Change a tire in 40 seconds. Race around a track in 48 seconds. Yay, it looks so hard. Oh, God. Did you see how slow it was?
Multiple tries.
Yeah, cool. As soon as they figured out how to work the vroom, 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 they were fine. Like, it was so slow. They could literally go vroom, 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 vroom. Okie dokie. I mean, come on, dude. And then they could do that part, stop, go around the racetrack, and they don't have to go back and start the whole thing over again. Come on. They should have to change the tire every time the guy messed up on the track as well.
I like that.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been an appropriate, like, you have to have a perfect send-off.
Yeah.
A perfect send-off, yeah.
Do it all in one go.
I was just getting so nervous that one team was going to get it and the other two teams were going to be struggling, and it was going to be even more boring. You guys already think that it was. This
would have been a great place for like a face-off. You got all three teams there, like at the line, and like you race around the damn track, and if you win, you go, and then the second you have another heat in the second place, they go. Like that's the way they separate them. Then if you're gonna only separate them by 5-10 minutes, then do it that way. Let them freaking race around the track.
They're not going to have amateur drivers racing around the Chicago racetrack.
How great would that be? Just give them really safe cars that don't go that fast. You know?
Do you know how fast you had to go?
I don't
Like,
know the actual
steady?
speed that they had to go. That's why when we get mark that for another question, we need to ask Brooke and
Because
Scott.
I would have had it first lap.
Diana would have done this first lap. She is a speed freak. I am not.
I got
driven.
I got 2 speeding tickets in 4 hours before. I got
Jesus.
8 points. 8 points on my license in 4 hours.
Tyler got 2 tickets in 4 hours too. You guys are twins.
Twinning.
Oh my God. I've never met someone else who's done that.
She lost half her points in 4 hours.
No, 11 is like license suspension or something.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But wasn't the race car was a stick though, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I don't know if they were actually adjusting the stick or if the guy next to him was, because in one of the scenes it looks like the actual guy in his seat was changing the stick.
No, I think the driver was.
Yeah,
I think the actual London or not London, Logan, Brooke.
Right.
I can't even say these people. The drivers, the racing drivers were doing it.
Yeah. The racing people. Oh,
The
yeah.
pros.
Yeah, because you could tell Tara, because she said part of the rules were you had to stay.
There was a
in fourth.
specific time that you had to do
You had to
things
stay
in
fourth.
order. Yeah.
Was one of the rules.
Right.
But other than that,
It wasn't just a straight freestyle. The guy next to him was kind of telling them, okay, now you can do this. Now you can do this.
Yeah.
So,
Which I didn't like because I feel like that's why no one was getting it at first. I feel like they were like, oh, make him go a little slow for the first time. And because they all got it around the same time.
They would have had to tell me to slow down. I'm sorry.
Diana, you got a speeding ticket on the damn raceway. So I don't know. I thought it was way too easy. It could have if you did the task right the first time, you were literally done in 3 minutes. No task on the finale of The Amazing Race should last 5 minutes. None.
It was
ever.
rude info, so.
No task at all. I don't care if it's freaking anything.
It probably took longer to reset the tire.
It took longer for them to get dressed and then their damn pit crew gear than it did to do the damn task.
That's true.
Whatever.
Come on.
Could you tell I don't like this episode?
I'm really not bitter, but every single one of our tasks in season 28 finale took about 5 minutes. Well, if you did it right the first time.
Yeah. Well, at least I don't. We'll get to your finale when we get to the finale. Yeah. All right. Did you notice that the teams were wearing Amazing Race hats and fanny packs, and that's all of a sudden I guess
running around Chicago.
That's and running around Chicago. Is this the time when they probably magically popped up on the CBS web store and they just said, "Hey, put this hat on because we're going to try to sell some stuff before you guys go off the air"? Like, what was this? Like, why are they on the finale?
Did everyone have it or just Brooke and Scott?
Brooke and Scott they both had matching hats and fanny packs. And everybody else just had a fanny pack.
Everybody had the fanny packs that said Amazing Race.
But Brooke and Scott had hats.
And they all had flags on their backpacks. And
go ahead. I was gonna say, were the fanny packs those weren't the same ones they had all season?
No, they were.
They were, but I'm saying you're in the USA, and this is the finale. And if you don't want to give away the finale, you're wearing freaking Amazing Race hats, and you're running around the city in Chicago, the 3rd largest city in America.
Ours we had the Amazing Race fanny packs the entire time as well, and we had them in the last day too.
Yeah, and now they had hats on. Brooke's here. Yeah. Hey,
hi, what I miss?
Well,
Hi.
Perfect.
Nothing much.
We were just talking about your Amazing Race
hats. How the hell did you guys, 1, get them, and 2, wear Amazing Race hats in the finale and try to hide who won the damn race?
We got them at the racetrack when Scott finished around the track.
Oh, got you.
And then, we wore them around the rest of the day because we didn't have backpacks to put them in.
Oh, so that's where you got. I'm like, how the hell did you get them? They just popped up on the website. They didn't even make those before your season.
You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
That's called the millionaire glow.
Now that she can let it out, all that America. Yeah. Now she could.
Positive vibes only, people.
That's right.
I wish you had a stack of cash to just
make it rain.
on all the haters.
There you go. There's your next.
Any second too. I think he's just signing off.
There's your next.
Signing back on.
Your next Instagram post. Just get a stack of money and just go like this. Hi, haters. And just do a boomerang. Hi, haters. Hi, haters. It'd be great. Well, we thank you. We know that you guys had a nice hour-and-a-half interview at Rob, so I know that could be draining. Not an interview at Rob, but just an hour-and-a-half interview. I don't mean to try to say. We like Rob. He just doesn't like me for some reason.
Oh, well, he didn't say anything bad.
No, he never does.
No.
To your face.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just messing around. I'm just messing
around. Here he comes. Hi.
Scott.
Hi.
Hey, did you remember?
Hi.
You were running the Amazing Race and not Survivor?
So, Scott, we're done here. So, good talk.
Oh, they're done?
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
you just missed it.
We stalled.
Bye.
We stalled. We were just at the racetrack. We stalled.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
What was your question? Why am I not on Survivor? Just kidding.
Yes, we'll get to that, mister. Okay, we'll get to that, mister. Campaign got started before the season even ended, damn it. All right. Yeah, we talked about how much we hated the finale. We loved your season. Not because you guys won, just because the leg design sucked.
Yeah, we don't care.
So you hated it for other reasons than America hated it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we just felt that it was for a finale. It was too easy, and there was no real memory task, and there was really no chance for teams to pass each other, and no roadblocks, and no detours, and there's a lot of things. That's kind of what we got to. We just didn't want to have you around for all the negative stuff, so we can get all of the positive stuff.
Nice.
That's where I live.
Yeah, we don't want to bring Brooke down. Okay, this is positive.
Hey, be nice.
Like, she's a millionaire.
In real life, I'm very happy. I swear.
Like
Brooke, you know I've been a fan.
I know it's cool. It's cool, baby.
All right. So, all right. Well, we wanted to ask two things. One, how fast were you allowed to go on the racetrack?
Oh, as fast as you wanted.
So why didn't you get it on the first try?
Okay, sit down.
I like that she's like a headless voice somewhere. Like there's no picture of Diana, but she's throwing shade from somewhere behind the scenes.
Oh, hey.
She's on the bed in pajamas with no makeup, not feeling so well.
It's really just the voice of God throwing shade.
The shade.
I appreciate it very much.
You know I love
I mean, I know, and I don't like you. I'm just kidding.
That's okay. We're gonna beat you in All the Stars anyway.
Okay. No, so for the racetrack, I have no fear whatsoever of driving. I always speed in my car. I don't have. Spatial relationship doesn't bother me.
Not always.
Wait. In Norway, we were given explicit instructions not to speed, or you could be arrested. We've already discussed this.
I know. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Okay.
It's a joke.
Okay, so no, in the Speedway, I honestly didn't know how fast I needed to go. I mean, I was going pedal to the metal for the straightaways, and then obviously taking my time on the turns. I mean, 58 seconds for the first time wasn't so bad. I think what the mental block was for me though is there were markers that you had to go through, kind of like guideposts.
Right.
And so it basically took you against the wall twice, and the wall is what scared me because your guide next to you it's not a driver's ed car. There's no wheel, there's no pedals. He's just like, all right, we're doing this. I mean, like, what if I accidentally hit the wall? Like, we're dead.
Right. So everybody was pretty cautious the first time around until they got the hang of it.
That's basically what it was. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Diana would have gotten to a wreck because she goes balls to the wall in a car. Or she would have aced it. One or the other. She would have done it.
I was just curious why, my mindset would be like, they got to tell me to slow down. Like, you don't need to go that fast,
Oh, I thought I was going fast. I'm with you. I was like, oh, I floored it. Like, I did it. And then they said it's 10 seconds too slow. I'm like, oh, my goodness.
How fast were you going? Do you know?
I think it was around 160.
Oh, wow. I didn't think it was that fast. That's awesome.
Yeah, when we saw the episode, I was like, oh my God, it looks like we're going 50 miles an hour. And I think it's because there's no relationship. There's no other car on the screen with you.
Right.
But we were all going very, very fast.
And how would you have felt if it was like a roadblock, Canadian style, where the three of you had to line up and race and you can only go move on if you beat the other teams?
You say the stipulation again because you cut out. There's three lined up and what?
It's like a face-off. In Canada, they have a face-off where you can't move on until you beat another team at a task. So it would be all three teams at the race line, and only the people who win can move on. So first lap would have been whoever won that lap could move on, and the next lap, whoever won that lap could move on, and the third team gets a penalty.
You already know what the placement is. So
it's the same damn thing that happened anyway.
Well, so it would have been, I guess, Lolo first, us second, Tara third then, if that happened.
So they got it first try?
He did really get it on the first try?
No, they got a second try.
Lolo took 2, and then Tara and I both took 3. But Tara was slower on her first, so I'm just trying to say, like,
oh, right. Right. Because I just felt that it seemed very easy. It didn't seem very easy for you. I know, Brooke, you were the only one that seemed to have problems with it, but you seemed to pretty much do it easy once you just got you sucked it up and just like, I'm going to nail it. You nailed it. And was it really just difficult or just learning how to work the gun?
No, it wasn't. First of all, I'm not the only one who had problems, but okay.
On TV, that's what we saw.
No, they showed London had some problems.
She was just slow motion. They've been slow motion the whole season, so you know they were going to do it in slow.
So the only thing with the tire that was an issue, first of all, the tire weighed about 60 pounds, not the issue. The issue was the wheel well was very small because it's a race car, so that if you didn't pull the tire out exactly straight, then it got stuck in the wheel well, which is why I was like, okay, fine, I quit this one. Let's do it again. Let's start over. Because there was no point once you were over 40 seconds or whatever.
I wanted to ask you that. You didn't, when you said I'm going to quit, you never said I'm quitting the task. You just said,
let's start over.
I know, but I know online there's a lot of people saying she quit.
Online, everybody hates me. But
give you a chance to clear that up.
No. Because you know what? This is like, I love you guys and I'm excited to be doing this interview. We've just answered the same question a lot. So I'm just like, you know what, forget it. When I was like, oh, okay, I quit, start over. This was not I quit. This was I'm not going to do it in the right amount of time. Say I'm going to do it in under 7 seconds. I would just stop the timer and start over. Why waste your time doing it for 2 minutes when you have to do it in under 40 seconds? And then they would reset for you. So no, I never was quitting.
I knew what you meant. I was there with you the whole time. Like, I knew what you meant. I will say my favorite part of that challenge, though, is I think it became second nature during the race for you. Is like when you hit any type of struggle, your initial reaction was just to yell "stop," and I loved it. Like I think it just became ingrained in you. Like the moment the tire got stuck, I love it.
Scott!
I'll just call him like every day and be like, Scott, I'm having a problem. No, I won't do that.
I loved it.
You can do it. You just
it's not like you were even actively thinking it. Like the tire like hit, and you're like, Scott!
And then there's Scott so patient. He's like, yes, you can. Just get back there and do it.
Yeah, so visually, it's a stunning task. It's a great place to do a task. I just thought there should have been more to it, a little bit more difficult. But visually, it was cool. I mean, I'm sure experiencing racing a damn NASCAR is amazing as well. So I get that nice little adrenaline rush. Great for television. Just wish.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the cars were painted so beautifully. I wish they did some zoom-ins on them. I mean, in real life, they were like, oh my God, this is the best set design I've ever seen on The Amazing Race. But I will say, just to clear up a little piece, is that the drilling piece, all 3 teams could do it once. I think there's this rumor online, like only one team could move on at all, regardless of the thing.
Oh,
it was just the driving we had to do one at a time.
Right, yeah, no, we were all doing the tires at the same time.
Yeah, I completely assumed that. And then when it came to the driving, it was just one at a time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So whoever finished first just got to go and do that.
Right.
But all right, gotcha. All right, so there you go. Clears something simple up for some of the trolls online who just.
Thank you. I didn't quit. I wasn't quitting.
We know that you're a winner. You won.
Obviously, Corey's haircut. Sorry, I just realized that.
I was like, Brooke and Scott, remember at the end of the day, y'all two have done something no one else in this room could pull off. Like, I'm still giving y'all kudos.
Thank you.
Oh, what one?
Oh, Scott.
What? Did you say one more than 2 legs?
I said, what, one?
One more than 2 legs?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
They're all like, don't make me feel like I'm on the back.
I'm just teasing you all. I'm just
gonna say thank you.
Go ahead. It's hard. You're off mic.
What did your notes look like in your book, Scott? Because I know that you're a super fan, Brooke. You too. What did your notes look like? What did you keep track of? What did you?
Yes, and Brooke is a super fan, America. So step off.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we wrote down every single clue word for word. We also wrote down who did the roadblocks, the order the teams came in, who was eliminated. I think I said who did the roadblock from each team. We wrote down everything, both sides of the detour, which teams did which sides of the detour. And so we used all of this information when we were studying sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but the flight over from Korea to Chicago, we memorized all of this. We knew everything from the flag to the currency to who checked us in, the language they spoke, everything I just mentioned, the roadblocks, the detours, who was kicked out, who was U-turned by whom. And then we also memorized if I didn't pick Brooke, who else would I pick? Who was she picked? What was the order of the 22 we finished in the first challenge?
You have the order for all 22 people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we memorized
Right
also like first impressions of everybody. I mean, it was literally everything was in our notebook.
Yeah, and then like you just run through it after each leg. Like, would you go through and just kind of re-say everything that played out before? Because that's what we did. Like, we kept all
The night
same
after, we'd
information.
like recapped with each other.
Right. We would just like talk it through so it became like memory for us. Like, you know, this was the placement, this was the detour.
Yeah, similar, except in our season, a twist is because we're not coming into the race together, we were sequestered separately between legs, and we were not allowed to hang out.
Between
legs? How did you not go stir crazy?
No, like Brooke and Scott, you guys shared
No.
a room, right?
No. We were
Oh my-
next door to each other, but they would let us. So we would write down our notes in our book, like
Why?
Scott, because they wanted to get all of
They wanted the
gameplay
drama
film.
on TV.
Oh my.
So they let us knock on each other's doors for the purposes of handing each other our notebooks so that we could copy each other's notes and make sure everyone had anything. So like I would give him this or he would give me his and we would write everything down. But this book has everything in it. Like I'm going to keep this forever because it's really incredible.
Yeah,
Like, we went bananas.
It was really the flight. And yes, Diana, to answer your question, we memorized things after each leg. But then when we were on that final flight, I think it was a 14-hour flight. And for probably 12 of them, we memorized things together.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Wait, did you guys say you never shared a hotel room once?
Oh,
That's correct.
Wow.
That just blows me away.
I would have gone. I'm telling you, I would have gone crazy.
No, but that makes it so much crazier to think that you actually only ran the race part together and then didn't get any like talking time to get to know each other other than strictly what they show. Right,
because isn't that the main plot point was getting to know each other? And so if you cut out all that time in the downtime, then the camera's not seeing all of it.
No, I get it. They wouldn't let us talk to each other for the same
still
reasons.
Don't like
but-
you know, just to think of all the stuff that like Justin and I would like talk about between legs, how we can improve, you know, I mean, we would just talk about everything to think that you guys like couldn't do any of that.
You want to
I mean,
just
we didn't have to do that. We just had to do it on airplanes or at a pit stop before we were separated or whatever. But no, by the time we got to our rooms, we really just washed our clothes, ate food, and it was fine.
That's lonely.
Yeah, and I did
Wow.
I did hear
nice
you.
sometimes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Can I say though, like knowing all of that, if I was to just watch like this finale episode, I really would think y'all are brother and sister. I'm just saying, like the way y'all interacted and the way like y'all just held each other and like not held each other like physically, but like the way y'all like interacted, I would think of as the brother and sister team.
Yeah, I feel like once we had the spat about the mannequins, like that was the last time we were kind of not on the same page. And I think it's because maybe I let out some underlying emotions. I don't really know what happened, but it was like, boom, okay, we're now on the same page about everything, emotionally too. And I think that's when we just really started to look like that brother and sister team.
Yeah, and that's when you guys hit your stride perfectly at the right time during the race and like literally like solidified at the perfect time, which is almost everything on the race is hitting your stride at the right time, because a lot of teams peak early and then fall late. And if you're going to have problems, you have problems early when there's 9 or 10 teams to make up for it, not late when there's like nobody behind you. So it makes a big difference.
And that's why it could be frustrating, because obviously we know the results of the race, but everyone's like, oh, you're 4-6-6, like you're a terrible team. And we're like, well, we're really 2-1-1 at the end. So like we'll make up for it.
Yeah, was that part of, was there any strategy of not winning for you guys, or was it just like?
Oh yeah, no, we sat down. We're like, we're gonna suck it hard real early.
No, because part of James Earl's strategy was to kind of just sit back and just kind of hang, and then hit his stride at the right time. So I didn't know if you guys had any similar strategies, because you had a social game, which a lot of people don't go in thinking about. So I didn't know if that was part of it.
No, I think that we look, everyone wants to go in and say I'm going to win every leg, and then you get to the race and it is. And we were on a season where everyone was young and fit, and there was no team of grandparents who you knew were going to go. That's not even fair, because some of the grandparents lasted very long time. There was no very physically weak team that you know, like, oh, they're going to go first, so don't worry. Like, everyone was really badass. And so my general feeling went from, oh, we can win every leg to just don't lose. And then as we, after leg 4, we were in 7th, then we went 6, 5, 4, 3, and then the mannequins happened and we went to 4. But, we had a very nice, regular climb right to the front. And I think that shows a lot about how we started to communicate with one another and how we started to learn about each other and how we needed to, support one another. So I don't think anyone goes in with the strategy. Maybe they do. I don't know. They go into this with the strategy, be weak. But
I was gonna say, I've heard so many people discuss that strategy, and I'm even I had family members when I left who told me don't go out and win the first episode, and I'm I could never let me and Tyler sit back or lay back. We are just too competitive, and I'm I think that's a very dangerous strategy if anyone watching eventually wants to go on the show. I think you have to always try your hardest, and I think.
Hold on, my season, James Earl wanted to, but he said. Part of his strategy was listen, there's only going to be one team on that first flight. If you know there's one team on the first flight, do you try to be that team?
I would have never done that.
Yeah, that's what Justin was talking
on that
about.
First flight.
I realized very quickly when there was just one team. That's when I pulled back a little bit.
No, your guys' season started airing when we were going through the process of casting ours, and Tyler and I watched that first episode together and looked at each other and said, we would have never gone on that first flight alone.
Brooke, Scott, what about you?
I agree with you because Scott and I had a moment we had a moment in Greece where Scott wanted to take a flight alone, and we had done, so what happened? We got to the travel agency in Greece, and we did a lot of research, and Scott found, we talked to this very nice gentleman, and we found 2 other flight options, both of which would have gotten us in earlier than the flight that they gave us. And there was some issue with the travel agent with how many seats there were on either of these flights, but there was one that we could have gone just ourselves and had I think it was an hour and a half or something lead on everybody else, or you stick with the pack. And
stick with the pack.
Hour and a half.
No.
Justin, you were almost eliminated on the first season because your flight got redirected.
I know.
Well, but wait, because here's the interesting part that I said to the camera, but they didn't air it. So I said, if any other team can get on this flight with us, we'll take it. But you don't want to be alone because heaven forbid, there's a delay or you miss a connection and then you're out by no fault of your own.
All right, Scott, what about you?
The other flight was delayed. And they were really? And I was I don't know.
Yeah, this was I was very surprised this did not make the episode because we fought so hard about this. I mean, I threw my rainbow hat and everything.
He did.
Oh, yeah. Through the whole thing. It was very dramatic. 6 cameras on my face. I was so mad because at that point, I was we need to make a big move because we were just sitting pleasantly in the middle of the pack, which I'm just listening to James Earl go no, and I think Corey was saying no, and then Justin, you're saying yes to this flight. And I think that's the beauty of The Amazing Race is that we all come in with separate ideas of what the best strategy is. And I think one thing that's been a little frustrating about maybe the U-turn choices or the way we played is they're not playing to win, they're playing to stay in. And I'm well, yeah, because the rule of the game is don't get eliminated and win the last leg. That's right. The Amazing Race. So Justin, with all due respect, you and Diana can win every single one and come in second in the last, and then you have 11 prizes and $25,000. Where we have nothing but $1 million. No, but do you know what I mean? That's the way the game is designed. So if you're casual and you don't understand that, there it is for you.
So Scott, you agree with me then? Just what I was saying is you don't take that risk. You stick with the other teams because you don't want to get out by a flight delay.
I know I just supported you with that response, but in that moment, I wanted to break away from the pack.
He did, and I get it. I mean, you want to make a big move, you want to play a big game, and I understood that, and which is why I was if there's somebody else with us, we do it. But I remember us having this argument and me going, look, there's a difference between a big move and a smart move, and if anything happens, we're out. And I don't want to be out after 8 legs for a flight, something that's not.
I wish they would have showed that because they never really show you talking strategy. Absolutely.
There's an extra. It's on YouTube. There is an extra scene on YouTube that talks about it a bit. I don't know if they show the hat throwing, which
they
I
don't.
wish
they show me picking it up.
Well.
Which team were you going to take on the other flight with you that you could Justin?
Lobo.
Yeah, of course.
Duh.
Slow and steady. Hey, slow and steady. They got to the
Scott,
final.
you just heard that little sheep group with you the whole way. I saw it all season.
You don't know me. You do know me.
You don't know me.
I love them both so much. Logan, I think, is probably my best friend from the race, besides Brooke. No, that was strategy. They were more lackadaisical than we were, so why not?
Well,
I'm not faulting you. I'm just saying I saw it. Like you were like,
I'm agreeing with
just
you.
walk
I'm
with
agreeing.
us.
Yeah.
Scott thought he was on Survivor and he was picking his final three. Who am I going to sit in the
in the jury box with?
You know what? I was just trying to play a different way of the Amazing Race that I didn't think had been done before, and that was my goal.
It was creative, and I think, Survivor should have your card.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that after for sure.
Thank you.
Your strategies going into the race and how much they differed from mine, and
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hey, can I do one quick comment on something Brooke said just a second ago, though?
Of course.
Because she was talking about how you don't want to, you're all 22 of y'all are super fit. You don't have the grandma teams. I think that's a mistake. I'm just saying, don't underestimate the weak teams, because the whole season, everyone was looking at me and Mom weak. When we went head-to-head with the track stars, with the break dancers who are ripped, we beat them every time.
Oh, I know, which is why I said I shouldn't say that. Sometimes the grandparents make it all the way to the end, so that's not a fair thing to say. You're right.
Tara and Joey were the oldest players, right?
Yeah, Tara and Joey, the oldest players, and they were there. And during our season, everybody looked at Tanner and Josh as the big fit boys. And then once we won the legs, then it was us.
But Tanner got hurt too.
Yeah, Tanner did got hurt. But
he got hurt trying to beat us, just saying.
Yes, but my only fear, the only team that I fear, I admit this every time, is Denise and James Earl, because I knew that's the only team that could beat me in the final task. Like, because his brain was what was scared of, and I know that they were both in good enough shape to get there. So that was the biggest fear for me. So I feared the grandma team, the only grandma team in our season. So yeah,
my mom's gonna smack you next time she sees you for calling her grandma.
oh, because she's not a grandma yet. My bad, Mama D.
She's not Grandmama D.
Not yet.
Mama
Not yet.
D.
All right. So how many times did the teams walk past this marked worker that we're heading towards?
I just love the footage. I love the footage of y'all like just circling him. It makes me happy.
That's
because which season was it where they were on Coney Island, I think it was, and there was a poster that showed you where you were going, and we were like, okay, so it's on the wall. Meanwhile, we don't think, oh, you have to crawl over the third rail to get to the wall. Like, it's probably not on the wall. But we're like searching, and I don't know if they show me saying it, but when I find him, I go, oh, damn it, and he's right there. But yeah, we ran past him probably twice, only because we were searching every wall and every pillar, and we're like, it's got to be a sign somewhere. And it drives me bananas, because when I saw, I think it was your season, Corey, where you were in that theater and there was a guy vacuuming the floor. The first thing I said was, they wouldn't have a guy vacuuming on national television. He has the clues.
Did you watch? Did you watch the Racers recap? We all knew the vacuumer had the clues. We thought we had to get something to give.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's so silly.
I still, yeah.
If you watch the Racers recap.
If you watch the Racers recap.
Oh, okay.
I stood up for our mistake.
Call yourself super fans if you want, but if
you must have missed that episode.
In all defense, though, like, I get it. I'm right there with you with the race blinders. Like, I would get zoned in. Thankfully, I had a partner who was just like Edel Hawkeye, so like we never missed shit because of Mom. But like, I'm right there with y'all, where I was just so focused that like the rest of the world was dead to me.
Listen,
we had such a moment of duh.
I got to the damn meat task first and left in fifth because I didn't do this. All I had to do was this. I took off the whole thing and redid it all over again. Elise even came to me. She's like, looking at it, you don't see what's wrong? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it all apart, and all I had to do was this. But so you get those blinders, and I understand it. You get, especially if you see other teams and the excitement is there. So
you know it's bad when Elise runs up to you.
Yeah. There's 3 times.
Do you see what's wrong? And you go, nothing. And she's the executive producer. Like, man, she's
like, wait, you're not that dumb. I know you're not that dumb. All right. So I didn't really see much to this task. I didn't understand the purpose of finding this guy in the train station if there was nothing to do except just get a clue. It looked like people, maybe 5 minutes, you knew you're going to find him. There wasn't that busy. So how long did it take? Maybe?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
To find him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think more? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the one thing they cut, it doesn't play into him, but I guess it plays a little bit into why the subway station. Our taxi actually had to drop us off at a certain subway station that was not Monroe, and we had to figure out how to ride the L to Monroe Station.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, which, I mean, we we were so lucky we ran into the station as this really cool woman was getting off of work. And I was like, girl, we need tickets to Monroe Station. Help us.
And
like,
she
I threw
goes,
a 20 at her.
baby, I'm going to help you. And she got us right out.
She was sassy, and she was like, who are you? And I was like, Amazing Race. And she just did it. I like queened out. It was a whole thing.
We're like, you're the third member of Team Drama. Get involved. And she was like, baby, I got you. And she was just like,
she did, yeah.
I didn't know if like a New York connection that helped you with any kind of subway things, or if that had any play to it. Because for me, being a New Yorker, the subway was just natural, second nature for me. Airport trains, subways, those were like second nature, and it just came easy. So I didn't know if that came in at all.
No, it's a matter of like, I've been to Chicago, but I was like 5. So it's nice to be able to ride the subway, but the lines are so different that unless you know where, you put me in New York at the subway and I'll be able to probably find where I'm going, but Chicago.
Yeah, and I think you'll see that we know how to read the maps, because when I'm telling Brooke that we need to go in a certain order, I'm like, it's this train because see how it ends here. Like, I knew how to read the lines, but it's still if she worked for the subway, I'm gonna let her buy me the ticket, you know?
Right.
Yeah. No, this seems like that actually I think is one of the turning points of the race that I guess we'll just get to. The route info said to find 3 city landmarks by solving riddles, get some postcards, find some beekeeper for some whatever reason, and
you seem really excited about this. You seem like really.
I hate this leg. It's the worst leg of your season. You guys could have been a top 5 season if you had.
Come on.
You would have been a top 5 season if you had an actual great leg. It would have been.
Y'all had a great season. Y'all had a great season overall.
You did. I said it's a top 10 season for sure. It could have been a top 5 if it had a better final leg. Just give me a damn final task. If you're not going to give me a good leg, give me a great final task. Instead of everybody knows that damn. We'll get to that. All right. So all the clues, all the clue holders are people, not clue boxes, which I like. I like that. They're not looking for clue boxes, so there's some sort of eagle-eyed vision, but them damn bright-ass yellows seem to stand out.
I have a question for y'all, though, because I know it's at the rooftop of City Hall. Like, is there only that rooftop where it's the garden? Did it take you right up there? Because Phil said something about a secret garden. Like, was there any, like, figuring out y'all had to do with that?
No, I think he just means it's secret in that when we went for a cast reunion back to Chicago, I tried to get us all to the rooftop because we want to see the garden without race blinders on, and it's actually closed to the public. So that's why it's secret.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but he also said this was like a grueling leg, so you can't always listen to Phil.
Well, we did run 6.5 miles just for the postcard.
In July, like it was not. Let's be a little.
Was it harder than Vietnam?
No.
Okay.
It should have been. It's the final leg. No, you don't have to justify it. You guys won. It's not your fault. I'm not.
We're not saying it's y'all.
Yeah, I'm never coming at you.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I think the postcard piece, it looks so much easier on camera when there were so many more elements that played into the order and all that.
No, I did it.
Yeah.
Like some of the leads we had where you didn't know we ran 22 or 11 miles in a lead. Like you, but
damn.
Right? No, there was Paris. We ran 22, and then in San Antonio Del Recto we ran 13.
Yeah.
God, 22 miles.
I promise you. Like
I believe you.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
And half of it was uphill.
You guys didn't have Fitbits, right?
Yeah, we had the Fitbit, so we knew exactly how much we ran. So we was watching, and that run up the hill, they never even showed it. There was like a foot race of 6 teams going up a mile-long hill. Where
we did not have Fitbits, but what we did have is, I think Joey mentioned it several weeks ago when he had the Ryans as his sound and camera people. Our sound guy had it was either a Fitbit or a pedometer or something on him. And we got back in the cab after City Hall, and he said, when it said get a taxi, I was so happy. And when we got in the taxi, he said, how far do you think you ran? And I was like, I don't know, 100 miles? No, like 2 miles. And he's like, you just ran over 6 miles. And I was like, oh my God, really? And
I mean, that's a 10K. Y'all ran a 10K.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, here's my question. Brooke, why would you not jump on Scott's back?
Because you can't run faster with 100 pounds on your back than I was running by myself.
I am so glad you didn't, because you would have been a freaking meme, and then he'd like carried you the whole season and then literally carried you then. And I'm so freaking glad you didn't, because that would have been you would have been demise. Well, maybe you did and they didn't show it. But
no, I didn't.
Oh, good. That would have been
Vietnam.
That would have been such a bad thing. So we're not talking about Vietnam. Don't go there. I don't want to
I'm
see
just
that.
saying. That's why I asked her to do it, because I was like, you did it once.
Just really quick, hot second. In Vietnam, Scott was like, get on my back, and he was yelling. So I tried to get on his back for 1 second because we went the wrong way and we're climbing these horrible stone stairs. And he was so covered in sweat, and I was so covered in sweat that I literally slid down him like a fireman's pole. And then we were like, okay, so that doesn't work. Let's keep going. Like, it was just never again.
And don't try to tell me
that footage.
And don't.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, God, I'm missing so much stuff.
We gotta
Sorry,
get some more
Jackson,
YouTube stuff.
we're hijacking. Go for it.
No, go. Hey, take it away. I just want to know where's this 100-pound vest you throw on your back for your CrossFit? Go ahead, go get it. I'll wait.
I am in Vegas for a conference right now.
Now, do you really wear a 100-pound vest when you CrossFit?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of squats that are upwards of 200 pounds. I mean, that's what I meant, is that I can actually make movement happen with 200 plus pounds on my back.
Oh,
Not that I run with 100. I mean,
because I'm like, I can barely CrossFit with my body. I was gonna give you mad props if you could CrossFit with a 100-pound vest on, because damn it, I could barely do it with just my man boobs. So
I mean, your man boobs, they look nice. When I was prepping for the race,
season, then.
I've lost 30 pounds since then. Leave me alone.
congratulations. No, the only prep that I did for the race when they cast us is I did run with a weighted vest.
Oh, girl. That's what Tyler and Corey did, right? You guys are
And if we ever get to do it again, what we'll do is I will go to Seattle where he's moving, and I will just drape myself over him, and he'll run carry me. And that'll be his training for the next round of the race.
No backpacks. You don't need a backpack. You just got Brooke up there. So.
I will tell you that if I ever got to run, I might not bring a backpack.
Diana's not.
Mom's not. If we know that, Mom's not.
And no one's ever done it with one backpack per team, but I think that that's probably a very smart move.
Yeah, I can't believe that teams have gone back 3 times and 4 times. Supposedly good at the race. Don't think of things like that and still wear jeans on the race. But stop. Let's move on.
Don't hate on the Cowboys.
Justin, you're so shady. You're so shady, Justin.
Get it all out.
This is why people wanted to U-turn you, Justin.
oh, great. What?
Can I get a different partner if I come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could be first out with whoever it is.
We're just going to U-turn.
Wow, this podcast is mean to each other.
Right?
I like it.
I don't know what's happening.
It's the finale.
Sure.
It's the finale. I promised some drama on the finale. All right, so I love that.
I'm with you. Can we just have fun times, Brooke? Me and you?
All right, so I love that.
Real life.
All right, let's get to what I loved about this episode. I love that Scott remembered it was an actual early season that went to the water tower. Unfortunately, it was season 6 and not season 9.
I know.
Oh, come on, girl. Give him a break.
Thank you.
I said I love it. I said unfortunately. I had to go and Google it too because I'm like, was it? So I Googled it, and that's the way that I knew. So I wouldn't have said season whatever. I just said, oh, that's from a past season.
I wouldn't have remembered. I really wouldn't have. So I'm impressed you did.
Well, thank you. I mean, actually, that was part of our plane ride over because I think, as you all know, as past racers, you don't know anywhere you're going in your final city. They don't give you an inkling. So what I did is I wrote down everything I remembered about season 6 and the finale and everywhere they went. And then I made sure we had the addresses of all of those places. And then I made sure we had Buckingham Fountain and Wrigley Field, coincidentally, because they are 2 huge things in Chicago. And then the Bean, Dream State or wherever it's called.
Yeah.
And so I had all those things written down. So when we got to the Riddles and 2 of them were some of the locations I had, I was like, well, this just turned out to be so easy. And so we just had to figure out Wabash before we move forward.
Well, yeah, it seemed to work out really, really well for you guys, being both super fans of the race. And as a super fan, I always love to see it when super fans win rather than, the teams that don't really watch episodes of the season until.
And the next thing I say, I only mean as a compliment. So, like, if it sounds a little different, I'm sorry. But I love that y'all are so impressed as a racer. Like, as a racer, I'm just super impressed by both of y'all for what you did in preparation for this final leg. As a viewer, it's what made this episode boring. It's because y'all were so prepared and y'all were so far forward that there was no drama. So I think that's what made the episode boring. But as a racer, I'm super impressed.
It's just hard because, I'm going blue in the face that I'm not really fast, but we knew that when it got to something artistic or it got to something mental, like, it's not to be conceited, but we were prepared.
Yeah.
Like, if Scott and I looked at each other and we're like, we have it, like, because we were so prepared for it. So we'll talk about it when we get there, but you have to take every advantage that you can get and play to your own strengths. And so I'm sorry if it was boring to fans, but
that's what I said about my season,
you can't
though.
go in unprepared. If you're unprepared, you're going to lose. So
Right.
Well,
and like I said, as a racer, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I think it's interesting because this is not towards you, James Earl. This is just a normal comment that I'm kind of noticing about fans is that, the boys were, 2 hours ahead of everyone in Vietnam, and like no one finds that boring. And it's like, and I understand this was the finale, so it's like you want some drama in it, but it's almost like, well, Tara and Joey were hours ahead and they won a leg once, and then Mike and Liz were ahead, and it's like, but when Brooke and Scott are ahead, it's annoying. And so that's something I've noticed, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, why can't we have the same rah-rah sisterhood that everyone else does?
I don't care who was ahead. I just wanted a chance to somebody to be able to battle, to be able to fight for first place. It was just like, you guys ran a great leg, so you made one slight little error and everybody else made big errors, so you deserve to win the final leg.
What was their error? I don't even remember an error.
In the big, hold on, I'm gonna
our error?
Yeah,
I don't think they did.
No, I think they ran.
They ran almost.
It was like my stand, flawless.
Oh my god,
girl.
Oh my god. All right.
Well, you wanted drama. It's the last podcast.
I love it. So Brooke's being extra cautious, and Scott's getting upset with her as she's checking the map. Which I think Brooke was 100% right here. I don't care how much you know. She just wants to be extra cautious. You get on the wrong train, your game's over.
I think. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
I was going to say, Brooke said, let's get on the train. And I was the one who said, hold up.
He's right. I said, let's figure it out on the train. And he said, hold on. But I think about that moment, and I think that's a really interesting moment for our team and our dynamic, is that if that had happened in like leg 3 or leg 4 or leg 6, we probably would have had a fight. But to stand at the map and he said, it's here, it's here, it's here. Show me the points, say what we have to do, and I'll go, okay. But like, I didn't just want to I wanted to know, and I wanted to be prepared. And so, we talked it out for 30 seconds, and the next train came along, and we got on it. Like, we didn't miss a train. It didn't take anything away from us to take a minute to look at it. And I think that we would have had a very different reaction earlier in the race. So we learned to deal with each other's ways very well, and I think that shows there.
Is Team Lolo ever in a rush, or do they just never show them running? It's not shame.
I will say there's one small moment in defense of Team Lolo in this episode. There's one small moment where you could tell they were in it to win it. And it's when they were in the taxi, and the taxi's like, oh, I need the address. And you see Logan going, you know what, we're getting out. We don't have time for this. Find another taxi. Like, they were in it to win it. I think they just got so under-edited this season. It's not fair to criticize them for that.
That's why I'm asking. I didn't know, because they always show them in their walking places. They're happy, and they're like, oh.
No, they ran. And they're fast.
I think we
ran with a 100-pound backpack.
Yeah, we ran with them to the finish, or to the pit stops 3 or 4 legs, and so we know that they can hustle. But Logan's really smart about directions. He was always on point with where they were going and how they needed to get there. So I guess that's key. That in the taxi, he was like, "If you don't know we're leaving, we'll go find a different way to get the address."
Question. Chat room. Okay.
I was gonna say, my question about Lolo is, I want to know how long it actually took them to do the last puzzle, because I was so sad when they finished and Logan was like, are we done now? I'm like, like Tyler and I finished in 3rd place, and we were like, can we go do another leg? Can we go to another country? Can we keep doing this? And Logan was just like, are we
there yet? Yeah.
Yeah, so did they just have an awful time at that last memory task, or was he really just over it?
I think he was kidding. I was with London's podcast yesterday, so she said it took them 15-ish minutes to do the final challenge. They missed 1, and they used our rankings to know their position.
Because we were next to them so many times.
Yeah.
Cute.
A question for the chat room from Jenks. Justin, are you confusing bag lead design with the great last leg finish? They didn't make any mistakes shown. No, I'm not. I'm not confusing it. They ran a great leg. They ran a flawless leg. All right, they ran a perfect leg, but it's still poor leg design. Like they could have run a perfect leg with a roadblock and a detour as well, and that would have been great leg design and a perfect leg, and then we could have a great finale. Like, that's, I'm okay with one team blowing all the other teams away if the leg allows the teams to catch up, but you're just doing better.
Actually, I'm going to change my mind based on what he said now.
Uh-oh.
I am.
Uh-oh.
I will still stand by, as a viewer, it wasn't the most fun to watch, and I will still stand by that. But now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't an awful lead design. Maybe Brooke and Scott just ran a perfect ledge, and it made it seem like that. I'm going to change my mind.
Brooke and Scott, before you guys got here, I said 100 times that I didn't hate the leg design or the last episode as much as everyone else seems to. I think your guys's was much more better designed than the season 28 finale, and it did allow for a better mix of the teams, but you guys did run a flawless last leg.
Thank you. I think there was a lot of times I actually think, because somebody asked me this question, there were several times where the lead could have changed. You know, if I changed the tires slower, or if that's Scott on the track, or it was a lot of running. If, you know, that's a good spot for us to have been slowed down, but other people went to the wrong place, and we just happened to get to the 3 right places right in the right order.
No, but
I mean,
every team was going to finish the race car challenge within 2 or 3 tries. Every team was going to finish every other challenge within 2 or 3 tries. Like for me, I want a task that
I think the going to the postcards was strategic in the way you went to them.
Yes,
I'm reconsidering my whole opinion on this.
That's the only part of this leg that had any strategy to it, because it looked like for me that you guys took a train to some far away one and worked your way backwards where everybody ran initially. So I think that was like a good part of a strategy. But my team mom and dad got lost and they still almost caught you. So I mean,
the check-in at the pit stop, we finished, I think it was like 35 minutes beforehand.
Yeah. Oh,
so
wow.
It wasn't, I mean, we just never performance. It wasn't, it's hard for them to have shown like leads changing, because other than at the racetrack, we were never in the same place at the same time as anybody else. So it's not like they could have made it look.
Yeah, the editing couldn't have happened.
I think that's what's frustrating, is like you could just tell that none of you were in a frame together, that was frustrating. But my thing about the leg design is just like they didn't maintain the integrity of a leg, which is what as
it's not like
I would want. Like I would want maybe 2 roadblocks where you had to do something alone, completely alone.
That's like what makes an official leg of the race.
You know,
like I would
everything you did was together, even though like you did the tires, Brooke, and you did the driving. It could have been set up as 2 separate roadblocks where you couldn't have, had you talk to each other and just like kept the integrity of the leg.
If I can, I understand where you're coming from, because when we were running the race and the U-turn boards were before all of the detours, and then in the last 2 legs, or really Vietnam onwards, there was no more roadblock. You know what I mean? There was less roadblocks, no detours. And so every time we ripped a clue, and I'm like, another blue envelope, like what's going on? I mean, I'm with you. Like even as I'm running it, I'm like, when's the roadblock? When is the detour? Like I'm just ready for these things. But when I reflect back on it, I go, maybe that was intentional, because they really wanted to capitalize on we don't know each other. And now we didn't even spend nights together. So it's like whatever drama they could seep out of us, they wanted that to happen. And they're not going to get that when we're doing individual tasks. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
No, I agree with you. And I think the scoreboard, not that it was categorized as a roadblock, but as part of a roadblock, you can't really speak to one another, or at least you can't have help from one person. And since it was a one-way radio, I'm telling Scott, not that he necessarily wouldn't have known order stuff, but I'm telling Scott, what level to put something on and what number is what, but he couldn't talk back to me. So it sort of felt roadblock-ish, even though it wasn't technically a roadblock, because we couldn't communicate with one another.
I get that, but placements.
I get you.
Oh no, you'll
be able to quote those for the next 70 years. You could have dementia, and you'll be able to be like,
4, 6, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 2, 1, 1. Yeah.
It's always. But
I know, I'm with you.
And Justin, there's nothing that they could. I mean, there's literally nothing they could have asked us that we wouldn't have been able to get. So
that's why it would have been so great to do something difficult, and you guys still aced it while everybody else is sitting there like, duh, and you guys finish hours ahead. I would rather that, to see that you're such big super fans that you were so prepared, and then people would have been like, you know what, they freaking deserve to win because they finished hours ahead of the other teams. I'm okay with that. I'm not. There's no problem with another team blowing other teams out, obviously. So I just wanted some sort of like, hey, I want a task that I could talk about for years to come. I want those tasks there. Okay, even if you're jumping in the damn big balls and putting globes in order, I don't care. Something, something. I don't.
I feel you, and I mean, I say this all the time. The memory challenge is my favorite moment of each race. I wait for it, and when we made it to the final 3, before we even said, "Oh, we're racing for $1 million," I go, "We get to do the memory challenge." Like it's my favorite one. And so when we saw what it was, not only did we look at each other and go, "That's it," but I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a letdown." Like when it airs.
How did you feel? How did you feel? Because like we noticed that when you got that final clue and it said like head to the pit stop, that at that moment you knew you won. Do you feel like that kind of not was defeating, but I mean, like to find out then instead of like that excitement of running to the mat? I mean, you still got that, I guess, but.
Well, yeah, no, I know you had a different design for your last little bit. I mean, as a racer who is in first place and about to win the amazing race, I was like, this is fantastic. It's a go clue. It could be an hour ahead of the drive. I don't care. So I'm sorry, I can't sympathize with that piece.
I'm gonna give you a little spoiler since we're here. That moment is actually getting my seal clap is when y'all rip the clue, because Brooke, your response when you open the clue and see it's the finish line clue was everything. Like that is what's getting my seal clap of this episode. Yay. Because you can just see the excitement. You can see like everything from the season that had been building up in you, like all the frustration, all like the agonizing work you had put into finally paid off, and you saw it in your face in that moment.
Well, so what happened before that leg started? Scott was like, "Can I read the first clue of the finale?" And he's like, "Let me read that one. You can read the go, go, go." And I was like, "Well, we better get to the go, go, go first, because otherwise that sucks." So I was like in his eyes when he reads the first clue, and so we're like, okay. And we get in that first taxi. When we got to the go, 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 I was a little bit, obviously, you want to read that clue. It's the go, go, go clue. Like that is the clue. And then we got there first, and I got to read it. I was like, oh my God, like this is the moment. And then when we got a taxi right away, and like, but you still, when we went across the finish line, I think I said to Scott, I'm like, are Tara and Joey hiding? Like, are we sure? Like, I'm always a little bit pessimistic. Like, until it's real, it's not real. So,
yeah, you even saw them, and you're like, are they behind us? And he's like, yeah, they're just going to that thing, and we finished. It's you see it with your eyes, and you still can't believe it.
I believe it when Phil says you win the $1 million. That's what it's
yeah. Brooke, should we tell them about when we didn't even think smartly about taking an elevator out of Berkeley Field?
Scott went to run ahead.
No, you go ahead. You tell it better.
We were in section 509, 503, whatever.
504, yeah.
Okay, run down all the ramps from level 5, and I'm like, elevator? But then it seems like in my head, after we got out of the elevator, I'm like, oh my God, what if that elevator had gotten stuck? And we were stuck in this elevator for a half hour, and we lost the race because we got stuck in an elevator. But I didn't say it out loud at the time. But so we got in the elevator, and there's like elevator music, and we're like, oh my God, we're gonna win the amazing race. And then that door opened, and I was like, thank God that didn't get stuck, and we ran it back to camp.
Can I just say, I would love for that to play out on TV. Like I can just see like Brooke like just banging on the elevator door, being like, Scott!
No, CrossFit King here would have pried the doors open with his hand, and then we would have had to crawl out that way.
You might jump on my back, I got you.
Oh man.
I love this moment.
What do you guys plan to do now that you won? Like, do you have anything in mind that you've kind of thought about?
You've only had a year to think about it.
I know.
With the money or with life?
Whoa. Let's start with the money.
Brooke and I usually say the same thing. I'll go first this time. I mean, I have a lot of student loans to throw that H-bomb around, so I'm going to pay those off. And I am buying my parents a trip because they've supported me throughout life and whatnot, but specifically this goal. They never thought it was silly that I was sending in audition tapes all the time. They never thought it was silly when I kept going to casting calls. So I'm going to reward them for that. And then I'm also giving some money to charities. You all know Heart of Reality. And then I am investing the rest.
Nice.
That's awesome.
What's an H-bomb?
Harvard.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just had no idea what you meant.
Yeah, you guys probably hear me say he's got medical loans and lawyer loans and Harvard loans. You're all probably paying the same damn bills.
Yeah.
You guys.
I said my 30th wedding anniversary is this month, so I'm sending them on a cruise. They're going to Italy and Croatia, and so
Aww.
Scott's parents want to go to the Pacific Northwest. Like, I'd rather pay for their trip, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's
It's like Seattle, great.
and then and I put a down payment on. Well, my parents loaned it to me up front, but I put a down payment on my apartment and bought a home. So
congratulations. All right, let's finish this recap so we can get to all these questions. There's a lot of questions in the chat room. Calm down. We see them. Okay. All right. We have questions as well. All right, let's finish this off. So I love that Team Lolo stopped at the tourist spot and got the marked map. I think that was one of the smartest things that people could do. Whenever you're in a tourist spot and you're going to see 3 tourist destinations, they're usually clearly marked on that map. I thought that was a great thing from them. Scott starts chanting $1 million, and Brooke feels like she should be doing better. Why do you think so low of yourself?
no, it's you know what? It was 12 episodes of, and you're so close.
Yeah,
and
but you
have
just
that moment
you
of
made
like,
it. You killed it. You proved it. At that point, you can't believe it.
oh, you mean at the very end?
No,
Yeah, I thought
I think he's talking about when you're running. You're
Yeah,
right,
when you're
bro.
running. But you guys
I
like.
thought you meant at the part where I looked at him and said, "I don't want to let you down." And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
That is what I'm talking about. But you're in the final leg. You already proved that you deserve to be there. Like,
well, yeah, but that's the point. We're in the final leg, and it's running, and I haven't been great at it, and it's hard, and I'm like, oh God, and I got emotional. I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want to let his mom down. Like, I don't want to let Karen down. I don't want the family down, or my mom, or, we've come so far, and it was so unexpected by everybody else for us to get there that, like, it just hits you, and it motivates you to be like, I don't want to let you down. He's like, you're not letting me down, and that's exactly what I needed to hear, and we kept going.
and then it seemed to work because Brooke starts crying. Scott motivates her, and they move right along. Scott, you also didn't wait for the guy on the bike to give you the clue. You kind of stole it from his bag. I did notice that. You kind of
You're
just
like, bye, girl.
later. I didn't even say hey any time. You just grabbed it and left.
I knew we were going to Itty Hall. I just needed the sit. So I was like, let's get it. Let's go.
My question, did you have to collect all 3, or did you just need to figure out where'd you go?
You had to
Yeah,
go.
like
You had to get all 3.
Because
So
that'd
we
have been
knew
really
after
cool.
the second one. And so we got directions from someone. We were like, we're headed to the fountain. How do we get from the fountain to City Hall? So
Right.
they gave us directions from that.
Yeah, because it seemed like everything that you guys needed to do, you kind of did this episode. Do you want to jump on my back, or will you please get on my back for one leg? Can we try it for a block? No, Scott, I'm not an invalid.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, how many times are you going to go and hear that clip? All right, Scott does CrossFit with 100 pounds on his back. Mom and Dad head to the wrong tower. I guess that was to me, that seemed like the mistake that cost them the race, that they had no chance to catch up once they went to the wrong place, because you guys didn't slip up, so there was no chance for them to catch up. So Lolo's cab driver tells them to get out and get another cab. That seemed to do it for them. I don't know, it's just from the editing, but that seemed to be like, he's like, I don't know where it is, just go out and get another cab.
But see, no, if you looked at that, the taxi driver was like not having them and was not going to help them, and London was the one that said we're getting out of this cab.
I thought he kicked him out.
No,
Like,
London
on the bottom.
initiated that. He was like, you need to find the address. And London was like, we don't got time for this. We're getting out.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So the route info says travel to Wrigley Field to get some hot dogs to get your next clue. Another pointless task where nobody recognized.
I
the
wish they'd
winner.
shown the hot dogs, man. That was fun. We had like such a great strategy with the hot dogs. We had a great little assembly line. We were
Oh, y'all had to
fun
make
with it.
those? I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know
had
y'all
to
had to
make
make. I didn't even know that. Like, I really thought you were just picking them up.
No, we made them.
No.
So why
I
did
think
they
it didn't
show it?
matter. Well, I think that was a perfect task for if there were 2 teams next to each other. That would have been like, who's gonna make 10 hot dogs fastest? Because there's like 10 toppings on each one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, and the super fans didn't recognize the winners until it was too late, from what I hear. But it's okay, because the same thing happened up at Toka Gorge for me, because I knew what it was, and if I would have went back, I would have sang "Swing You Fat Bastard" because I had the man boobs. It would have been perfect, but it didn't happen, and I get it, race blinders. But Ernie and Cindy, they literally jumped in your face and were like,
No, and we just said this, Brooke and I look at Brooke, I go, he's so cute. I feel like I know him. And then right when we turn the corner to go back down the stairs, she goes, oh, it's Ernie and Cindy. I was like, oh yeah, it was. But we were all
Yeah, we
camera
weren't
at that
turning
point.
around at that point, so.
Yeah.
No.
No, hell no. All right, so the route info, you deliver the 10 hot dogs, and then from there, you kind of go to the final memory task. The only thing cool that happens there is Joey screams, "Go Red Sox," to prove he's just the biggest Red Sox fan ever. Glad that the past winners were actually shown. I like when Amazing Race does things with its past winners besides the Globetrotters and the Cowboys. So
you're just in a hating mood today, Justin.
Dude, all I read about online is how the Amazing Race wants regular people like the Globetrotters and the Cowboys. Shut your mouth. They're both professional athletes. All right, so the final memory task. Place the numbers in order of how you finished each leg. The only
I tried to think of a way that I would that would make this tougher, and I don't think it was a tough challenge. And it's not knocking y'all. I just don't think it was a tough.
You had the best strategy of it by doing it from top to bottom.
Well, yeah, I think that's the only thing that could make it a little tougher is because it was in alphabetical order, and I start going, okay, the first one's 4. Oh wait, it's alphabetical, and then but you couldn't use your notes. So thankfully we knew 4, 6, 6, 7, 6, so on and so forth. And the first one was. Or the 5th leg of this. Like, I felt like Rain Man. I kept just doing this with my fingers. And I knew, I even said on, the first one was Norway, and I was like, okay, so Tara and Joey came in first. The boys came in second because they did the kayak. Team Fun came in third because they did fast forward, but they didn't get first. Bank and Ashton drove up the thing. They came in fourth, and London Logo right in front of it. Like, I went Rain Man on this task, and I knew it for all of them. And so I think that's the only thing that if we were head-to-head with someone would have actually made us faster because we did it in order from top to bottom, whereas I think it was Tara and Joey that you saw doing it, and they were jumping around positions.
Hey,
and that's a little harder because you don't know which box to go in.
Right. Stop. Question for you. When Brooke initially made her mistake that she corrected very quickly, how did you know that she was wrong? Did you see it before you went up there and it was alphabetical?
Yeah, when I was running up, I memorized the order. I mean, that sounds stupid that I memorized the order, but I just knew it was A to Z.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and on the backs of those, there was no numbers, letters, anything on the backs because
there's weird names on the back.
It said St. Louis and
right. And it's weird because they told us we were the blue section, which it's not indicated on the back. So I actually stuck my head out and looked for the blue. And that's I'm surprised they didn't show us sticking our heads out. I was apparently the only one who did that. And I'm like, why didn't we all just stick our heads out?
Because you've seen the words?
Yeah, I actually looked down to find blue, and then I looked over to confirm it was in alphabetical order, and then did the hand motions that you saw on camera.
That's great.
Yeah.
You guys, I mean, you made all the right superfan moves for this episode for sure. Brooke having very few problems with the final task. Mom and Dad with the worst strategy of going up and down and up and down. Lolo gets there as Joey and Tara finish.
Well, we didn't even see them do it.
Yeah, they just had a couple communication errors and somehow just magically finished because we didn't see it. Pit stop, you're heading to Milton Lee Park, 9 countries, 17 cities, 36,000 miles. And the world gets to see Brooke and Scott win.
Yay!
Congratulations. Welcome to such a small fraternity of amazing racers. You guys did it. Proved a lot of people wrong, including yourselves, because I don't know if you guys at some point, because you did mention, you said we couldn't win. So at some point, you must have said that you guys can't win.
I said that in anger in leg 1.
It was leg 2. It was leg two.
And
it wasn't even, it may have made it sound worse than it was, but it was after leg 2, and he's like, it was a bad place because he had just come off the building and I hurt my arm and blah, blah. And so he was like, we're never going to win this. You're not a runner. If it's a foot race, because you can't run. And I was like,
oh, Scott, I totally said that to Mom too.
No, but not me. There's no hard feelings now. It was just, there was a lot of, it's emotion. It's fine. And there's nothing negative.
But you're only as good as your partner.
But him really got in that last cab.
But what happened after the race, James O, because of that one line that you said to Mama?
Oh, yeah. So, Scott, I'm right with you. So, we're in the Netherlands. I said that same line to Mom because, long story short, I wanted to get on a train, and she wanted to wait for the one that we were, assigned to, the ticket. Yeah. And when she wouldn't get on with me, I got off, and I was like, why do you want to wait for the other teams to catch up? Because you can't run. And so I've been there. It was a low moment of the race.
Yeah.
Mom's running half marathons and marathons now. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
She live in New York?
Oh, why? Because I should run with her?
I mean,
She's a beast.
Maybe you want
man.
to meet her. I don't know.
I should go meet her. You're absolutely right. But it was all in good fun at that very last cab ride. I'm like, hey, remember when you said we weren't gonna win this? Like, and now we're here.
Yeah.
So Brooke and Scott know they won as they saw Team Mom and Dad behind them. They're super excited as they get there. Brooke and Scott winning all, followed by Mom and Dad and Team Lolo strolling in third place. James Earl, seal clap. You gave away that moment.
I did.
Yeah, you could recap it. Let's recap it for anybody that missed it.
So, like I said, my seal moment clap of like probably the season, because I'm just telling you, this is just like the epitome of just the race itself. Is when you see Brooke open that clue, she sees the go finish line. You see 21 days of emotion, sweat, blood, tears. You know, like the anger, the frustration, the happiness. You see it all in that moment, and it just made me so happy, and I got my seal clap.
Yes. Diana, who are you putting in check in this final episode? Anybody getting put in check?
No, everybody was happy with each other.
All right, nobody's getting put in check. Dustin's superfan move is obviously going to go to Team Brooke and Scott for making the right moves pretty much at every turn of this race. The only thing that I saw that somebody did better was grab the tourist map to find the actual landmarks, and didn't seem to help them much as they came in third.
I thought you would have said the super family was the backpack thing. I was like, Justin will like that.
I loved it, but I mean, it seems so typical for I didn't even think that was something that people still thought about anymore. Like,
yeah.
So I mean, obviously, from beginning to end, the first thing you did was that. So you made all the right moves, and
we gate checked those on purpose. Like we had them with us until the very last second and let them get on the plane first. Then it was like, my back. And
Justin mentioned that.
I told the story because I did watch you guys on Rob Has a Podcast before we came here. So I support Rob. I mean, hey, listen, he's an icon. He's a legend. He's the one that's doing it for Survivor. I wanted to be for the Amazing Race what he was for Survivor, so he inspired me to do the show. So I have a lot of respect for him. I just wish he would actually show up when we have a lunch date. Leg design, didn't like it. Corey, what was your LOL moment?
My LOL moment was on Facebook when Bertram commented on your finale party that he wasn't going because of the venue.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Scott, he showed up and it was so crowded that he didn't come in.
All right.
I heard that it was because it was right before. Remember, we had the finale party, and there were people in our room, and we had to basically like kick. Scott went in and said, and like kicked everyone out of the room where we were having our party. Mm-hmm. And from what I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but speculation is that Bertram actually pulled up, and people weren't out of the room, and he was like, no. And so
that was my LOL moment.
That's so funny. But what's also funny is we had a killer party. It was almost Survivor style, so he missed out.
Nice. Justin, did I say one thing for the season in general?
Absolutely.
And for all
this is the
people
platform.
watching?
Go for it, baby.
I think this was a very, very good season. And Brooke and Scott, I don't really know what all the shit I talked about y'all during the season. I know there was good things. I know there was bad things I said. You know I've been a fan of y'all's from the very beginning. And I'm pretty sure at some points in time I said I didn't think y'all could win. Y'all played such a strong late game that I just think it made y'all such an impressive team this season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You have your faults, and like every team does, but y'all were very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot.
And I, to be honest, I didn't think that Amazing Race is a game where you needed much strategy. Not a lot of teams have ever used much strategy in the past. There's been a couple, obviously, when they teamed up with the Afghanimals and did all that during that season. So, but I appreciate that you're bringing some strategy to the game, and I think that kind of brings those Survivor, Big Brother type of fans to watch the Amazing Race, which kind of led to a season 30. And I appreciate what you guys have done for the race, regardless of all the hate online. The haters speak louder, but there's so much more people who love you guys. So,
and for all the haters on Brooke, like I have said this since leg 2, she killed it in challenges. She did. Like you can watch her, and she killed it. Granted, you may need to watch on mute to figure out she's killing it, but she killed it.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
thank you.
And all right. So for this season of the Amazing Race, again, you weren't here for that, but we put it in our top 10 for sure. Could have been in the top 5 had there been had a great.
So it's number 6, is what you're saying.
Somewhere. I never put my list out. I'm sure that's going to be a video at some point. Our top 10 seasons that we'll do. Maybe you could join us if you'd like. We'll have them you guys on. So is there anything that you guys want to clear up? Michael Jenks wants to bring the room down and talk about. Can you explain, Brooke? Can you explain to some of us fans how the comments could go too far? I don't know if you want to get into it. If you want
I'm sorry, you cut out. Can you say it again? I got all fluffy.
Yes. Do you want to talk about how some of the comments have gone too far online, or would you rather not get?
I mean, all I will say is there are some people who are so positive, and thank you to those people. I will write every last one of you back as soon as I get, because there's a lot, and they're great. And they find me on the street, and they message me, and they call me, and they're awesome, you know. And to those other people, like, move on. It's a TV show. Like, I'm sure you all have something better to do than making fun of a TV persona, and go enjoy the outdoors and season 30, and be excited that you have a team to root for next time. And you know, they don't usually bring winners back, so you probably won't have to see me again. So, and there you go.
Bite your tongue, Uchenna and Joyce is all I'll say.
I mean, if they bring me back again, then hit the mute button, because I'm coming back then.
Well, if they bring you back again, we might see the whole race recap on there with you. So it's brilliant. No,
alliances, everybody, alliance.
Yes, we will.
No. I am not aligned with Stott. I have seen what he does to his alliances.
I know. No one's gonna trust me now.
See, here's the difference between how me and you ran this race, Scott. Nobody will ever trust you in Survivor. I never lied once on my leg, no matter how much they hated me. I never lied to anybody once. I kept every promise I ever made on the race, even to Team Texas twice by not uniturning them. I know how bad you want to get on Survivor, but I think you might have ruined your chances by being so strategic on the Amazing Race.
Hey, you know what? When you go to a car dealership, you know they're gonna sell you a car.
Is that your response? All right, are you putting together a tape for Survivor? Are you going auditioning? I mean, obviously you're petitioning online. Are you going to go through with it? What's going on?
I think it's super funny. I told Brooke, I was like, I should shoot a Survivor audition video, just send it in to see if they even notice.
Absolutely.
No, I know that season, was it 36 is the next one? It's already filmed, and 37 just left this week. So I know that those two are already cast. But, you know, if it happens, it happens. I probably will sneak in a video for 38.
Okay, if they said Big Brother or Survivor.
I mean, I'd rather be Survivor, but I've been a finalist for Big Brother a couple of times, so I feel like that might be closer to reality.
Brooke, what about you, Brooke? I could see you on Survivor and America loving it.
I've spoken to them about Survivor before I was cast in The Amazing Race, just like I was like spitballing, and I said I would eliminate myself before the first commercial break, because I'm terrified of spiders. No, I like hygiene. It's a great show. I love to watch it. I cheer for them.
But you have heard the rumors that are just circulating everywhere online, right? That you're going to be on this summer's Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up.
That you're going to be on Big Brother here in like a month.
That's untrue.
They do know that the cast has been selected, right? And she's doing this interview today. Just saying.
Are they in the house already?
No, they go into sequester in 2 weeks. So unless she's called the next 2 weeks.
So she could technically still be on Big Brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one has contacted me about.
Do you like how I'm just perpetuating the rumor?
You can reach out to Casting on Twitter and follow along there and see what she's up to. Robin Cass, what are you doing? What are you doing, girl?
Huh?
Yeah, remember me from 8 years ago?
Robin, she does casting for Big Brother. Yeah. Listen, I think all 4 of you would be excellent on Big Brother. I think you guys would make for an awesome season. Have all 4.
Which 4?
The
Me?
4 of you, yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Mm-hmm.
I think that would be such an interesting season.
There might be too much drama with us 4.
There would be. Justin, you know I can't keep an alliance. Like, I'm like Stott.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
not gonna.
I can keep one if I want to.
Is there anything that we want to clear up before we give the big hey there? What do you say there? Diana, can you get Cooper? They would like to see Cooper in the final episode. What about you guys?
I said before we even went live, I was just telling you and Diana and James Earl how much I love the Amazing Race family, and I'm glad Brooke and Scott are a part of that now. And I told you guys that when your cast was announced a few months ago, and I messaged you on Facebook. And I just love all the racers, and these are so fun to do these recaps. So I'm glad I was part of it this year.
It was awesome to have you. I mean, come on. I mean, not to just be like, but hey, if anybody's famous on YouTube on the show, it's you. So we appreciate you taking your time out.
Justin, I'm just being honest. I'm not listening to you. I'm staring at the cute puppy.
Listen, I am going to start a YouTube show with him. I'm trying to work it out so I could get him to move his mouth, and I'm going to do some voices. So it's going to be awesome. That's coming soon.
Really
So this is Cooper G Doodle. He has more Instagram followers than me and Diana put together. So
I'm gonna follow Cooper G Doodle.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Well, if I can, Justin, I just want to say to you, as a fan of your show, you know, thanks for keeping us all on our toes. Thanks for asking all of us some really cool questions so the fans can get to know us better. You know, I think what you all do and what like Rob does and others is give some context into, we're just fans trying to play a game, and sometimes it's exciting and sometimes it's not, and that's what makes it so special. And so for all the fans out there, I guess I'm an example of, you give it a couple of years, and when it's your turn, if you really want to be on it, everything will align. So for me, it took, 8 years, I think, to finally get on the show, and you see that it worked out for me. So you can do it too.
Took Dan Foley 14 years. He finally got his dream of being on Survivor. So they just got to push through for it. I mean,
Yeah.
James Earl?
I mean,
Brooke, sorry.
oh, go ahead, James Earl.
No.
I didn't have anything to say. I was just sitting here.
Oh.
For me, it took me 13 years since the first time I applied, and I didn't apply every year, but I applied 4 times over the course of that many years. And I would echo what Scott said. Like, there are people who were very negative, and I got so many messages saying, I saw you on the Racers Recap, and my opinion of you changed. Like, you have a good sense of humor about this ladle, and you seem like a real person, and you seem very funny and nice, and not necessarily how you were under pressure and how you looked on the race. So I just appreciate you guys giving us a forum to speak, and I appreciate the people who watch and learn a little bit more about us, because, you know, it's several hundred, well, over the course of the season, it's a couple thousand hours of video cut down to 12 44-minute episodes or whatever it is. And so I appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful. If Bert or Elise or Jesse or Phil or Erica are ever watching, like, they really changed our lives. Like, win or lose, like, we are all part of something that's so incredible. So just thank you guys so much. Thank them. And I'm just really grateful and blessed to be a part of it. So thanks so much.
Yeah. After we aired, I wrote thank you notes. Like, I hand wrote thank you notes. Like you changed my life. Like, thank you for thank you for allowing me to be part of your baby.
Oh.
Yeah, I sent them emails too, so I didn't do it by hand, but
I wrote a few notes. I wrote, thank you for the great edit. I really appreciate being America's sweethearts. It was great.
Justin, I feel your pain, and yet we're blessed. It's awesome.
Oh my God, it's the best thing that's ever happened to us.
Yeah.
It gave us a whole new perspective on the world, and
it
changes who you are as a person. And we get to travel and help people just by saying we were on a stupid show.
And I made this
stupid show.
Well, you know.
little box neck when I travel with more, and it's cool. Like, it's so cool. Like, I know it sounds very kumbaya, but it's all love and happiness.
I got to meet. I just want to give a shout out to Thomas Murray. I met him in Cincinnati this weekend. A huge Amazing Race fan who knows more about the Amazing Race than anybody that you've ever met. Can quote anything about the Amazing Race.
Oh, Michael Harmstone.
Penalties.
That sounds like competition.
Harmstone.
Yes.
Thomas Murray will challenge you to an Amazing Race IQ challenge in a heartbeat. I'm just gonna.
Maybe we should make a test.
Well, it's not fair though, because Thomas has an amazing brain. He's autistic, and he has an amazing brain.
That's fair.
And he was part of my escape room this weekend, and he was the MVP. We got out. We beat everybody else. So thank you so much for being a new friend of mine, Thomas. I just want to make
fun fact, and Scott and I both love Escape the Room. So if we're ever all on the same.
Please.
Wait, can we do one in
I'm obsessed.
In Orlando?
Hearts of Reality, yeah.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Because there's downtime. There's downtime.
Hearts of Reality.
All right.
I'm going to look them up and we'll book one.
All right.
Or
We'll
two.
get a group. All right.
3 in a row. That's fine.
Michael Jenks, he'll beat you too. I know you've seen it 12 times. All right, so we're going to escape rooms. Give kids the world. You're going to see us all posting links to donate money, because that's the next big one that we're all going to. So make sure you reach out. If you got the $5, give up your Starbucks for a day and help these kids. The terminally ill kids who are going to spend the best week of their lives in Celebration, Florida. And we'd get to dress up like pirates and princesses and 80s characters and make them giggle. So thank each and every one of you. It's been an amazing blessing to actually have an outlet to continue to talk about our favorite show, and to have people like James Earl and Corey and every one of the racers who took their time out and broke their contracts to be on the show. I really, really appreciate it. So, and the fans who've been here every week, you guys are awesome. I don't care what those little numbers say. If there's 1 or 1,001 or 1,000,001, we'll do the show until the show's over. So.
You like, well, my mom watched once, or she saw something. She's like, I saw, like, were you teasing that there was 100 people watching? Like, no, Mom, that's awesome. 100 people were like hanging out with us live. I'm like, that's on picture.
It's Monday
people.
night. We're competing with Fox, ABC, NBC. It's 8 o'clock prime time, man. We got 106 viewers. I'm okay with that.
Bachelorette and grading.
Bachelorette. I'm competing as a Bachelorette.
I'm gonna win. Yeah.
I got grading.
All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Share. Racist Recap's not over. We'll be back next week. We'll continue on. So
I don't know if I'll be back next week.
Stop it. You guys always leave me in the summer.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break on that one, but we're going to too.
Take a break.
Tyler and I have to take our last vacation that we won from the race. So
where are you going?
Where are you guys going?
We are going on our Alaskan cruise this week. So
I will be following social media and
yes, please.
waiting for your
How many
cycle.
did you win?
3 trips total.
Same as us.
Yeah, same as us. And we have one more.
Okay.
You guys can go on like,
stop it.
30
Your
trips.
parents
I'm
won
kidding.
trip.
I know.
This cruise is very inexpensive.
All right, we love you guys. Thank
you
so much. Check it out. We're going to be putting everybody on iTunes next week, and we'll be back.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
The season's over.
Bye. Aw.